What up, my friends? How's everybody doing? Put on some music, wait for this place to fill up a little bit. See what my dog's barking. He's always barking at something. Dude, I just broke my scissors cutting up a joint. Dead serious. Look at this. Look at this. I can't roll a joint with this. What is this? I'm smoking out the pipe. I think I'm smoking doobies out the pipe. Boom. Miss Thang, good to see you. 410, what up? Hit that like button, please. C-Dog, I see you. Tim Hennessy. Farmero. Miss Thang. My dog's attacking my feet right now. Get out of here, what are you doing? Woo! Y'all see this video on Dub, this interview he did on Dubs yet? How's my microphone sound? This fool give the worst apologies I ever heard in my life. Like horrible, like I thought I was bad at apologizing. Right? We're gonna go over this. You know, I gotta be honest. I don't even, you know, in the last video I made about Gunner, I said, hey man, just take a couple weeks off. Go sit down or something. Sit your ass down somewhere. Think about something. You know? And this fool can't do it. And he's completely unable at taking any sort of accountability for the things that he does. Look, Billy, I see you. Audio sounds good, he says. I couldn't watch it. He wouldn't stop talking. I'm telling you. This is, I mean, Dubs, you know, I feel like Dubs is like, this is how I feel. I feel like Dubs is bound by his loyalty right now. He's bound out by his loyalty to a man that he feels has been good to him, right? So he can't, if he turned his back on him now, it would be the equivalent of like letting your homeboy go to the yard. You know what I mean? By himself. If your homie came to you, he was like, hey homie, I gotta go handle some stuff. I need you to come with me. And you were like, nah, dog. You know what I mean? That's basically where he's at. That's where Gunner and Dubs are at. And so Dubs is stuck with him because he has honor. Because Dubs is an honorable individual. You know what I mean? Who thinks that his word means something. And let's be honest, a lot of the times on the internet, and not on the internet in general, but on YouTube in general, cats that are super, super good with you will just flip on you. Boom. Like that. There's no loyalty. There's no loyalty. And whenever you have loyalty like that, it makes you sick whenever you see it. And so I know what Dubs is going through right now. I know how he feels about the fact that this fool's, what the things he said about American Cholo, let's put it that way. But we're going to get into this video in just a second. He is. Thank you, Choco. Everybody, please tap in with Culture War Vultures. That's my new venture with Vegas Profile Stories, where we talk about all the craziness in the world. Right? Let's turn this music off. Oh. I got some new graphics coming. I've been working on some new graphics. Working on that. Boom. Let's get into this. Pack me a little bowl. Now so everybody knows the story. If you're over here watching this, you know what the problem is. Gunnerz smutted up. Just a real quick recap for people who are watching later on. Gunnerz smutted up YouTuber American Cholo. Gunnerz Collective did with some fake paperwork. Okay, so now you're about to watch the second apology from a man who smeared somebody else as an SO, who smeared somebody as somebody who touches children. And not only that, somebody who's in the street life and was brought up in the gang, right? Who is and so would have to answer for these things. There would be consequences for these things if this was true, not just YouTube consequences. So keep that in mind. You're about to watch the apology of a man who just smeared another man with fake paperwork. Okay? Here we go.
You want to express, right? So right now, I want to know, what is your state of mind right now with all of this YouTube drama that's going on?
It's hectic. I'm not gonna lie, it's hectic. There's a lot being said. At this point in my YouTube career, or what I've been doing on YouTube, I'm getting a lot of arrows shot at me, right? More than ever. For 3 years I've been doing this YouTube thing now, and from day one it's been like this. I don't know.
Is that true? Has he been getting hated on from the beginning? I know he's been doing scumbag stuff since I known about him. Pretty much ever since I got on YouTube, I know he's been doing scumbag stuff. He started with VPS.
If it was what I brought to the YouTube game or what I intended to bring, but something rubbed people the wrong way and they felt some type of way. I don't know if it's, clout. I hate to use that word because you can't get clout off someone that doesn't consider themselves having clout.
That's called a humble brag. Oh, I don't consider myself having clout. That's stupid. That's a humble brag. You got 60,000 subscribers. That don't even mean nothing. Don't pay attention to that. That's just a way to endear yourself to your audience. It doesn't really mean anything, though.
So, I never look at myself like I'm famous or YouTube famous or anything like that. So I don't see what the big deal is about me, pushing out my content, saying what I'm saying, doing what I'm doing, and having the agenda I have, which is the unity of the people, for the people.
The unity of the people is not smutting them up with false allegations.
I never came in with the intentions to hurt nobody, disrespect anybody, but along the path and along the yellow brick road, as I say, it seems that way. It seems people feel negatively impacted by my content, I guess. So how I feel at this moment, I feel not powerless, because you always have power. You always have the power to say what you're going to say and do what you're going to do. But I feel like I can't prevent anyone from saying what they want to say about me. That's the great thing and the bad thing about it.
Yeah, if you go look at his latest videos, he absolutely can prevent you from saying anything bad about it, because his videos have thousands and thousands of views and they have like 3 comments. I think the last one had 3 comments last time I checked. Had over 3,000 views and 3 comments. So he absolutely can.
YouTube and any other social media platform is that people have the right to speak on what they want to speak on, say what they want to say. It's up to the people that are listening, the subscribers, the supporters, the people that are being entertained, whether they grasp it and run with it and what they do with it. I myself, being a consumer of YouTube, even prior to being a content creator, my whole thing was listening to the spills, watching it for merely entertainment, and then pushing on. If I got a little lug out of it, a jewel, then I downloaded that in my CD-ROM, and that was good. But if not, it was just entertainment for myself. So how I feel right now is I feel with everyone, I hate to play the victim role, because that's never been me.
He's never played the victim, but he's about to play the victim. That's what that means. I hate to play the victim role, but here we go. That's never been me, though. Play the victim role. You ready for the victim role? Here we go. Let's find out why it's actually his fault that he smutted somebody else, or why it's not his fault. Why it's somebody else's fault that he smutted everybody up.
I've never been that type of character to say, oh, what about me? Or, it is what it is. The proof is in the pudding. You could look and see for yourself what's going on here. And it's not an agenda to shut me down. It's not an agenda to get me to quit YouTube. It's not none of that. What it is more so is...
I actually agree with that. In general, even the cats who really go at him, nobody's like, hey, you shouldn't have your channel. You should shut your channel down. Nobody even expects that. They just expect him not to act like a leva, basically, for lack of a better term.
A gaggle of people, a handful of people that behind the scenes have their own agenda because they don't like me for one reason only, and that's because how quick I was able to accumulate subscribers or how quick I was able to have my message felt. Now,
we're jealous. That's what that meant. That's what's happening. Is that y'all are jealous. That's why nobody likes this fool. Because we're jealous.
I never asked to be, I'm not going to say number one in the genre because I wasn't, and I've never been. There's people they got way more bigger channels. It's just a lot of people heard me. A lot of people grasped onto what I was saying, and they enjoyed the entertainment, the comedy, whatever I was bringing to the table, whatever I continue to bring to the table. And some people that rubbed them the wrong way because maybe they don't have the same charisma or the same style, the same get down. So they felt that if for no other reason to slander my name and to push an agenda on me. And how does it make me feel? It makes me feel upset at times. Not at any particular individuals because I'm not going to give them enough, I'm not going to give them that they can do that to me. But it makes me upset with myself that I'm not able to avoid some of the situations that I find myself caught up in, because if you look up and down the line on my channel, you see my videos. I tell war stories or, I speak some current news and whatever the case is going on. I like to switch it up, for the subscriber so they get a little bit of everything. And it seems that some people find flaws in
Just remember, this is an apology. I want you guys to still remember that. We're 5 minutes into an apology. This is just a bunch of useless information. It don't really mean much. But, I mean, we'll listen. We'll continue to listen. Let's get over here to the comments for a second. See what's going on. This is wild. Tommy Thunder, good to see you. Let me take a break and just address the comments. Mario C Dog, good looking. Gunnerz at SMY Buster. Johnny Cab in the house. Kaczynski, good looking. Salute. They enjoyed the lies. That's what they say about Gunner. He's been lying about the real ones in audio since the very beginning. He can't go anywhere in Northern California and move freely. He's disrespected so many hoods. There's literally kites saying take flight. Jeez. Yeah, I mean, you always got to watch for that. I always pay attention to that whenever people can't go back to their own neighborhoods, because it tells you something. Because my people in my neighborhood love me. Still, a lot of them even. I mean, there's a couple people who want the heads up with me, but like I sleep good at night. Put it that way. There's like 2 people who want the heads up with me. And whenever we see each other, it'll probably be the one-on-one, and we'll just figure it out there. But, like, I never burn nobody. I never nothing, man. I can walk around my neighborhood. I can talk to my friends. I go ask everybody for interviews. Most of them won't give me interviews. They'll talk to me, but they won't give me interviews. But they'll talk to me, though. They just won't go on camera. But, let's see. Boom. Gang, gang. Here we go. Let's get back over to this.
Every single thing that I do. If I eat menudo, it has to be out of a can. If I breathe air, it has to be tainted air. I mean, I can't do anything. And so I feel like alienated is the word, Dubs. That's how I feel, alienated right now. Like I have to push on solo bolo.
Now let's be honest. This fool has a ride, right? He's just not welcome in it. He's from the ex-northerner ride. in Northern California, right? Which there's several of them. There's EBK, right? There's Jay Hans. There's several. There is a ride there, right? So he has a ride. Ex-Northerners. He should have a ride to chill with. These should be your dudes. And even now they don't want nothing to do with him, you see? And these are the people that he's saying. This is why he's saying this. Let me run that back. He's saying alienated. He is alienated because he's literally been kicked out of his own ride. It's not that the Southerners hate him. It's not that it's just random people hating on YouTube, right? It's not just trolls. It's not just Triple OG, right? It's his ride, homie. His ride doesn't want him.
And it seems that some people find flaws in every single thing that I do. If I eat menudo, it has to be out of a can. If I breathe,
the only people that are like this are EBK. EBK is the only one who's like, nah, this fool can't do nothing right. No, I guess what's his name? Shout out to EBK. EBK stays on this fool's helmet. He's funny though. He's funny, but he's not disrespectful. That's why I love EBK, homie. He's not disrespectful. He just, hey, you know what I mean? He's a chill dude. I'd like to smoke with that dude someday. We'll go back home.
It has to be tainted air. I mean, I can't do anything. And so I feel like alienated is the word, Dubs. That's how I feel, alienated right now. Like I have to push on solo bolo. But I do have a strong team around me. I do have strong friends, people I consider friends or brothers around me. And that keeps me pushing. But I do feel alienated. You know, that a lot of people, especially in this genre that we're in, or we're considered to be in, people don't know how to separate, you know, what is entertainment and what is fun from gangs and prison politics and things of that nature. You know, it always seems to become involved in the day-to-day talk or speak. And
when you accuse somebody of being an SO, it can get political. When you accuse somebody who's you know what I mean? Like American Cholo. If you accuse somebody like American Cholo, yes, it can get political real quick, I would think.
And it just, to me, I just feel alienated. I don't feel I'm at a point where I'm going to tap out. I don't feel I'm at a point where I'm mad and I want to do something to somebody. And if that was to be done, that wouldn't be spoken on here, especially on your channel. I have my own channel to speak my feelings, but one thing I'll say for sure is just definitely alienated, but not broken, you know, period.
All right, now here's the question that everybody's asking, everybody wants to know. Why did you put out the video on Gil from American Cholo, and what was your state of mind when you did that?
Okay, so my state of mind was this. Earlier that morning was the first time that I heard about that there was some paperwork floating around. Whether it's real paperwork or not paperwork, I'm not here to dispute it. That's, you know, I've said what I've said to Gil, apologized, and I'm going to leave it there. But it was told to me, I got on the phone, someone told me, hey, there's some paperwork floating around. This is what's being said, that he said, she said. And immediately my first instinct was, well, I want to see it. You know, I want to see it. I've been around the block. You know, I'm curious, just like anyone else would be. I couldn't believe it. You know, this individual I was talking to, we couldn't believe it.
Oh, he couldn't believe it. That's crazy. Because in the original video that he made that I have a copy of, it's on my members only page, right? He says, I knew it. I told you so. I told you so. It's also on my live stream on Culture War Vultures. You can find it on the live stream. I did a live reaction to it. Or you can see the unedited version. This fool's lying. He said it. He said, I knew it all along. I knew it. I knew American Cholo was dirty. Come on, fool.
Like, you know, I've seen a lot of things with Gil, you know, like people say narcissist or petty or whatever they say. And maybe I felt that way too at a time. But one thing, I never felt that he was a weirdo, you know, a chomo or things like that. That never even crossed my mind. I would never.
He literally said, I knew it. He was like, I knew it. Whatever, fool. I'm going to cut this up. I'm going to edit this into something, and it's going to be him saying that, and then it's going to be him saying, oh, no. Watch. I should put that other one on private.
Never even put him in that category.
Can't get it taken down.
So when someone spoke on that, and they said, hey, this is what's going around, I said, well, you know, I want to see it, just like anyone else. And so over a course of a couple hours, there was a lot of conversations going on behind the scenes with certain individuals. It was sent to me. And I did a once over. I looked at it, and I remember telling the guy I was talking to on the phone, wow, man, I can't believe this. If this is true, this hurts, This hurts him, this hurts the raza, this hurts a lot of people. So what am I going to do with this? And the person that I was talking to on the phone, I consider him more of an advisor. He's grounded. He has a good state of mind at all times, right? So me and him got to conversate, and he said, well, maybe instead of just putting it out there, you should, and jumping the gun, we should call him. We should call him or try to get a hold of him now.
Yeah, you think? You think? You should reach out to somebody if you had any respect. If you had any respect for somebody at all, do you think it'd be a good idea before you went on the internet and smeared them as an SO? You think it might be a good idea to give them a call, an email, you know what I mean? A text message. How about a text message? Just, hey, dog, I got some bad paperwork on you here, dog. What's going on? What is this? That's the first thing I would have said if I seen what he's seen. Like, what is this, dog? You know anything about that? Right? No. That fool was rubbing it in his chest, homie. He was all on it, beating it on his face. He was going to town, dog, all over that paperwork, all over that stupid-ass screenshot. Come on, man. Some bad, foggy-looking digital 3 times copied document out of it looked like it was a legal I've been thinking about that, about what that was, and I'm starting to think that maybe that's a page out of a law book. I'm starting to feel like that's a page out of a law book. Like they went and looked on LexisNexis, the law thing, I believe it's LexisNexis. I'm starting to feel like they went to LexisNexis and pulled up Guillermo Tejada, and then it brought up a case, like an actual case that had been figured out by the appellate court or the Supreme Court or something like that, and there was law based upon it, and then they screenshotted a grab out of that. That's what it looked like to me. It looked like they took some actual, like some contact or something like that had actually maybe talked about him, and then spliced it in with something they put, because that's what did it say on a procedural or something? That's what it reminded me of. Whenever I looked at the paper, it looked like it was a law that you were referring back to, right? It didn't look like, I don't know. Looked like they said, we deny him this because of this past conviction a long time ago. We're denying him this in the future, and this is settled law, is what it seemed like. It didn't seem like it was someone's paperwork who was about to go through something. Or maybe a motion. But let's get into this.
For you guys, I don't know who's put it out there. For you guys that believe that me and Gil have conversations behind the scenes, I have never once in my life, in my entire life, spoken to Gil on the phone. It's not happened, right? We've never had a conversation on the phone man to man. Just never happened. We felt how we felt about each other in the past. There was no reason to conversate.
I never heard anything about that either way. I don't know.
There was no reason to collaborate. There was no reason to start a feud or anything. Whatever we had was authentic and real. And there was no reason to come. And now we're both grown men, and I'm sure if it got to a certain point, we would pick up.
What does that mean? Authentic? Well, authentic and real pretty much mean the same things. But what do you mean? Whatever we had was authentic and real, but you didn't talk to each other? Hold on, run that back. What do you say? We like? Oh yeah, we respected each other from over here. You know what I mean?
We felt how we felt about each other in the past. There was no reason to conversate. We've never issues behind the scenes. I have never once in my life, in my entire life, spoken to Gil on the phone.
Okay, so I never talked to him on the phone. We established that.
It's not happened, right? We've never had a conversation on the phone man to man. Just
okay, never had a conversation on the phone.
It's never happened. We felt how we felt about each other in the past. There was no.
That doesn't mean anything. We felt how we felt about each other doesn't mean anything.
Reason to conversate.
We don't talk at all.
There was no reason to collaborate. There was no reason.
We don't work together. Never work together. Don't talk.
To start a feud or anything, whatever.
Never beefed with each other.
What we had was authentic and real.
But it was authentic and real. You guys see what I'm talking about with this speech that doesn't mean anything? It means nothing. Bleh.
And there was no reason to come. And now we're both grown men, and I'm sure if it got to a certain point, we would pick up the phone. And we know a lot
Okay, so if there was a problem, we'd call each other.
of the same individuals, so we know a lot of the same people that we can get in correspondence if we needed to. But that was never the case. I never talked to Gil. He never reached out to me that I know of, and I never reached out to him. But anyways, so after a couple hours of having this paperwork in my possession, and I was being
Couple hours of reading that little page.
told that other channels were dropping it. They were on the cusp of dropping it. They were on the verge of dropping it. And me being me,
So they were dropping it, or they were on the cusp. It's a little different there.
trying to get the breaking news, because that's what we do as content creators. You know yourself, Dubs. The whole mission in this is to break some news, and if you can go viral or drop some whether it be heated content or debatable content, it's still content,
This is true.
And this was something that was, although I should have sat down and did my due diligence and really looked at it, I think a little bit of my pride, my ego, and also a little bit of not liking the individual played into it. A little bit of everything, So what happened was, me and that...
That's probably the first honest thing he said. That's the first genuine thing I think he's actually said the entire time. Let's hear that again. We'll run that back. We ran back the bad part. Let's listen to the good part again. It's only like 10 seconds long.
Although I should have sat down and did my due diligence and really looked at it, I think a little bit of my pride, my ego, and also a little bit of not liking the individual played into it. A little bit of everything, So what happened was, me and the person that I talked to, we decided that we would reach out to Gil and let him know what was being said and what we had, because I wasn't sure if he had the heads up. Now, at the same time, simultaneously, I guess this thing was going on with Whack 100, where Whack...
So they were you hear what he just said. Him and a mutual friend decided they were going to reach out to Gil. That's where we're at. Then we jumped to Whack 100. Now we're going to go with Whack 100.
100 was pulling up allegedly to his doorstep and doing all that, right? I wasn't aware of that at the time. I wasn't aware of it. I don't watch YouTube like people think I do. So I wasn't tripping on what Whack 100 had going on at that point. I wasn't aware of how heated and how real it was getting between himself and Gil. Last I heard, they had some words, and that was that. Whack has words with everyone, so it's no big deal. And so anyways, I wasn't aware that the state of mind Gil was in. I was only thinking about myself, and that's true. That's to be real. And so what I decided to do was have a conversation with him, try to get a hold of him and let him know, hey, apply the pressure. Hey, look, this is what I got. This is what's being said. I don't know whether it's true or not. I could care less. But at the same time, this is what I have. The next time you speak on me or say anything about me, bro, then I'm going to have to go ahead and let this be known.
What? What? Did he just say he was going to blackmail him? He just said his plan was to call American Cholo and tell him, next time, if you don't do what I ask you, I'm going to let this be known. We're going to run that back. Hold on. That's what he just said. He's going to blackmail him. I'm pretty sure. Or maybe I'm dumb. Let me look at the comments. Did you guys hear that? I'm going to run this back and jump in the comments and listen to it with y'all. I'm not in the comments. Hold on.
I heard they had some words, and that was that. Whack has words with everyone, so it's no big deal. And so anyways, I wasn't aware that the state of mind Gil was in. I was only thinking about myself, and that's true. That's to be real. And so what I decided to do was have a conversation with him, try to get a hold of him and let him know, hey, apply the pressure. Hey, look, this is what I got. This is what's being said. I don't know whether it's true or not. I could care less. But at the same time, this is what I have. The next time you speak on me or say anything about me, bro, then I'm going to have to go ahead and let this be known.
That's exactly what he just said.
Speak for other people if they just...
He just said he was going to blackmail American Cholo with that paperwork. That was his plan, was to call him and blackmail American Cholo with that paperwork. And he just admitted that. This is an apology video, right? Or maybe not. I thought it was going to be an apology video. I don't know what the hell this is. This might go members only too. I wouldn't be surprised to see him take this down.
Decide to drop things and do whatever they do, that's on them. But I'm saying for myself, this is what I was going to give him the heads up, basically, is what I should have done.
I was going to let him know, don't you ever say anything bad about me ever again. So now you know what Gunner will do. If he ever has anything on you, you're going to be blackmailed.
About 10 minutes prior to the video being dropped, I get a phone call. Hey, they've already dropped it on the full. I don't know. It's not the full community. What is it, Dubs? It was the full.
I think it was the Fool's World or something like
Fool's
that.
World or whatever it was, right? Which I got mixed up with the full community, fence off full community. You know what I mean? But it's like, hey, it's being dropped. There's another individual about to go live on Instagram, do his thing. There's about, a lot of people. It was coming. So I said, I got to beat you guys to the punch like Mary Wells, right? So I recorded my video. Now, if you really dissect my video and look at it, I'm saying in my video, I don't know it to be absolutely fact or true. I might have used the word fact here and there, and that's my...
Might have used it here or there. That fool said he knew it from the start. He told y'all, right? Yeah. No, that's not what he said. He said it was a fact. He said, I got the paperwork. Here it is. I got it. I got the proof. It's in the black and white. I got the papel. Blah, 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 blah. And then he did a dance, and he said like this. Come on, homie.
My bad, But I absolutely was flabbergasted and couldn't believe that it was true. And I said, and I said, and if it is true, it's a bad look. And it was more rubbing it in the wound. I'm not gonna lie. That's how I felt at that time. Like, okay, fuck me, no fuck you, right? This is how it is. And that was my bad. And subsequently, that's why I apologize. But that was my mind state. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to add preservatives. My mind state was initially I wanted to bring it to him, which I should have in the first place, because then he would have, we could have came to the understanding that it was fake. But again, like I said, there's other people out there that believe it to be true. Some believe it to be fake. It's always going to be questioned. I just want to let the people know, because
now he's going to put it out there that, well, maybe it's still true. That's what that was, right?
Out there that believe it to be true, some believe it to be fake. It's always going to be questioned.
It's always going to be questioned. The fake paperwork's always going to be questioned. That's nice.
I just want to let the people know, because everyone's like, Gunner this, Gunner was the first one, Gunner was that. Gunner wasn't. I actually second or third on that.
He found that Folio community, the fake fools community or whatever. Fools.com or something like that. That had 1,000 subs. That's who posted it. That's where he got it.
It's just my voice. I have a bigger platform than some, so it was, of course.
Fools.com. It's crazy that Fools.com wouldn't be reliable.
But I take that. I'm a rock with it. I apologize to Gil. He accepted the apology. Again, we had no conversations in the cuts, and I'm not going to say that. But he publicly accepted the apology. I publicly apologize. For those of you that believe, oh, you apologize to save face or save subscribers or do that, that's not the case. I did it because that's what was right. I was wrong and he was right. And that's how I felt. Whether the paperwork is real or not, I'm not here to dispute it. Like, I'm not here to say none of that.
We'll still leave that out there.
Here to say I shouldn't have put it out there. It was not my place. I should have did my due diligence, and that's just what it is.
Yeah, my next question was gonna be, why did you feel the need to apologize?
No, and I'll elaborate. I felt the need to apologize because it's the right thing to do, Dubs. See, you and myself, having been in prison and having been involved in the streets and anything, what's right is right, bro, what's wrong is wrong. We know that. A real man will stand on his 10. If you're quick to stand on yours and take fades and...
If you've been through the prison system for any length of time, you know the consequences of putting out fake paperwork on people running with fake paperwork. And I don't know how every state is run. From what I could tell, this dude did some time in Oregon, maybe. If he did prison time, he seems to have done it in Oregon. I don't know how they do it in Oregon. I know Colorado is by no means one of the most violent states, but I did 9 years out here. And if you show up on the yard and accuse somebody of this, violence has to happen. It's just the way it is. It doesn't necessarily have to be blades, but you have to fight. There's no way out of it. If you accuse somebody of being an SO and it turns out not to be legit, at the very, very, very minimum, you have to fight. You're probably going to get hit. More than likely, you get hit. That's what you'll see. Or you'll see somebody get attacked. It won't even be a heads-up fight. You know what I mean? Somebody will put a rumor out, and then once you put that rumor out on me, well, you really should have watched your back, homie. You know what I mean? Because now I got all rights to just attack you whenever I feel like it. I could just come into your cell as soon as the door pops early in the morning. Or I could just get on the tier early in the morning and drink coffee and just wait for your door to pop and wait to catch you slipping and just go in there on you and just attack you. I don't even got to give you a fair one or nothing like that because you smutted me up. That's how Colorado runs, but violence has to happen. Nobody's got to die, but violence has to happen. This fool.
And do this and woof and expose people and do all that, then you have to stand on your toes the same way in the reverse, right? If you're wrong, you're wrong. You know, and that's the true measure of a man. A man will say, you know what? If you're quick to smut people up and say things, and well, if you're wrong, man, don't sweep it under the rug and just say, oh, well, it is what it is. I said it. Let's fight. Nah, it's none of that. That's not cool. You're not cool. You're so cool. I'm gonna call you a culo. You're not cool. What's cool and what's real is being a real man and saying, you know what? I truly apologize. I was in the wrong. And it didn't take people to let me know that or to woof on me or for Gil to do his live and say what he said. I had to do some self-reflection, and I was like, why did I do that? You know, not only does it go against what I believe in, not only does it go against what I usually do, regardless of what people say about me. Truly, man, once I took into account what he was going through with WAC 100, pulling up.
Before we get into all that, I think what he just said there probably was true again. That was probably a true statement. All this.
I had to do some self-reflection, and I was like, why did I do that? You know, not only does it go against what I believe in, not only does it go against what I usually do, regardless of what people say about me. Truly, man, once I took into account what he was going through with WAC 100, pulling up to his doorstep, you know, the state of mind and what that's a whole different situation in itself, right? I didn't think about his feelings or his family's feelings or what this could possibly get him in a wreck or anything like that. I was thinking selfishly, and so I felt that I had to sit down as a man and apologize, and not apologize.
Jesus, American Cholo's got a wife, right? Wife, kids, right? Job, YouTube platform. All that goes away if you touch children, right? Maybe some of it, maybe your wife stick it out with you, maybe, right? But your platform's going to shrink immediately. And the people might come for you. You might have to leave, right? I mean,
behind the scenes, like I said, I could have easily reached out to someone that could reach out to someone that could reach out to me. That's easy. But I felt that I made the what I spoke on publicly, I needed to apologize publicly. You know?
I feel that. I've always believed that myself. Whoever you disrespect somebody in front of, you should apologize in front of as well. Exactly. I've never agreed with that. Let me do something out in the open and then apologize in the dark. So exactly. I hear you on that.
So that's why I did that. There was no agenda, no pretending, no faking. What I said was the truth, man, that I sincerely apologize. I didn't take into account him, his family, those around him, his friends. I acted selfishly. I acted, although I acted recklessly. Let's just say that. And that was it. And that's just plain and simple, man. I'm going to be a man. Regardless of what people think or say about me, that's the truth. My motivation was, honestly, having been where I've been in my life, you know, that was a dumb move. That was a hasty move to judge someone or mischaracterize their situation.
I think he actually means that. I think he has done some soul searching. I tell you what, that night that he posted that first I apologize video in that little apartment with the little little apartment with a little tiny refrigerator, a little tiny kitchen that he was in. It was like the size of a closet, and he was in like a wife beater or something like that. You could tell he was going through it, but he still chose to jump on. I'll give him that. But this fool's apologies are trash.
For my benefit. Oh, I had to apologize. I had to because I wanted to.
Okay. Now, I know the answer to this, and I get the brunt of a lot of these next two questions, but we're gonna go with this one. Do you feel that you are one of the most hated content creators on YouTube?
Within our genre, I do. I believe I'm the most hated. And I don't know why. Right? YouTube's big. YouTube is
He don't know why. He's got no idea.
a lot bigger than just us. Okay? There's millions of content creators from all over the world. In every genre, every different aspect of material that gets put out there, everything gets scrutinized closely, and someone always has fucking something to say, right? Some people are just built like that. They're negative and they see that they're pessimistic, or they're not optimistic, they're pessimistic. They see the glass half empty rather than half full. And instead of thinking positively, they try to dissect and pick apart everything that you say, right? Because they don't agree. Or maybe they...
I'm really just over this fool's nonsense apologies. All he really had to do was just ignore this and go away for a couple weeks. He'd have got trolled a little bit. But the way that he's reacting is the worst thing you can do. The way that he's reacting by taking away everybody's comments, right? By removing all the comments and making his live streams pay only or members only, stuff like that. That just lets him know that they're getting to you, right? He could have just ignored this, went away, licked his wounds, right? You messed up. This is not something that you can't bounce back from, but he just... At the beginning, he said he didn't want to play the victim role, but this seems to be pretty much going on Dub's channel just to play the victim role.
I do agree, but the way they carry themselves makes them, they have an image to uphold to not agree. That's just the way, you can't change people in the way they are. Now, a lot of people are, damn, Gun, you're the most hated. Within our genre, I believe, truly I am, and I think everyone's starting to recognize that now. At some points it was like, he's not the most hated, but now I see bigger content creators like, oh, hell yeah, he's the most hated. I've been hated on for 3 years straight now, man. Or hated. Not hated on, but hated for 3 years straight. And I can't seem to figure out why. People might have
no idea
because of some of the jewelry I wear, the way I dress,
that's what it is.
I have this crazy ego where I think big about myself. Nah, I'm just trying to, be presentable. I've always been like that prior to YouTube. The way I speak and the verbalization that I use, I've always been like that, man. I wasn't taught this. I just adapt to my surroundings and speak how I speak. And I can see how that could rub people the wrong way. A lot of people that kind of...
Being a scumbag is what runs people the wrong way, right? You didn't get kicked out the hood because you're too smooth, homie. Because you dress too nice, right? Because your rims were too clean. Nobody gets kicked out the hood because their rims are too clean, dog. Right?
Can't identify with my lifestyle, how I grew up. They're either one or two things. They're either curious or they don't like me. There's never been no in between. There's never been riding the fence with me. There has been now a lot lately, but prior to that, there has never been that. It's either you love me or hate me. And, initially I came into YouTube and a lot of people said, wow, this is different. This guy tells his stories. He adds comedy to it. He has a flair. He brings back some of the old school movies and music, and they like it. They like it. It takes you back. It takes you back to tapes and CDs and shit, right? Walkmans and bell bottoms. But I'm not doing it to hurt other people or to shit on other people's content or to say I'm better than them or their content's less than. Everything that I've done, I've worked hard for. You know how it is being a content creator, Dubs. We wake up early. We have to think about the next spill, and it's sometimes hard. It's sometimes hard to come up with something for the day. And then you have to make everybody happy, and you have to thread that line because you can't upset these people or upset those people, and it becomes a hard task. I know to some people it seems like it's just a quick video, but there's a lot that goes into that. And somewhere along the line, and not even along the line, right from the gate, I had the group that hated me and the group that didn't. And it seems like the group that hates me.
That's just called YouTube, man. There's people on YouTube who don't like you. There's people on YouTube who don't like me. And then the bigger you get, the more people aren't going to like you. That's just YouTube.
It's becoming more abundant. It's becoming more in numbers.
But then whenever you get exposed for doing scumbag stuff, see, that's the problem, is that there's people who don't like me, but they got no voice. Because what are you going to say? What, I'm fat, I'm ugly. Well, what are you going to say? Right? We already knew all that. You got nothing. But whenever you start doing scumbag stuff, then people got a platform. Then people can start yelling at you. Then those insults start hitting home, right?
I noticed
I personally don't agree with that.
Okay.
I believe it's the same people with multiple accounts.
Okay.
Myself. And not to interrupt you, but I can say this: a lot of the negative, I think as content creators, you have to admit we get way more love than hate, no matter what. Okay, but I will say this: the negative comments that I get, it's pretty funny. It's pretty amazing. I would say 90% of the negative comments that I get are about you. It's not about my videos. It's not about what I've said. It's about you.
That's wild. 90% of the negative comments are about you. It's crazy, right? Everybody hates Gunner and he just can't figure out why. No clue. Dude, man. You know, I stayed away from the whole stuff whenever he marked out VPS. Whenever he made it a racial thing with VPS a long time ago and marked out VPS. Whenever VPS barely had any subscribers, he was just like, whatever. And lied on VPS. And I know he lied because I seen the whole situation go down. And I was there for every step of the situation. I wasn't involved in it, but I got to watch the different steps of the situation. And so I already knew this fool was a snake. He's been doing the same stuff the whole time. And that's why you could tell it's just a pattern. Weasel type stuff.
And I don't get it because it's like, for one, I can't understand how people get so emotionally invested in people they've never met. How people pick sides and do all, it's crazy to me. But you know, like, why would anybody go to you to ask about me, or why would anybody go to my channel to ask about you? So that's why I know, me personally, I'm like, damn, they really do hate this Vato. For whatever their reasons are, but it's just a trip.
I don't hate anybody. I don't give anybody enough space in my head to hate anybody. Plus, I'm a firm believer that to truly hate somebody, you have to have loved them at one time. I think hate is really only reserved for like your ex-wife or things of that nature. You know what I mean? Like, I got a dude who did me dirty. I got a dude that his wife kicked him out. Whenever he got out of jail, she had gotten a hold of his phone and caught him cheating. That fool got out. I went and picked him up. I gave him some dope. Gave him a handful of dope to do some speed, because he liked to do speed. Gave him some dope to do. I gave him a handful of 20s hard to sell. I took him down to my spot that I had on 16th and Meade, right off of Colfax. His little whorehouse. Took him down there. Dropped him off. Got the working girl to knock him off, right? Fresh out of jail. She knocks him off. I pay the dude who runs the house, the PIM, who runs the house. I pay him off so my homie could be there and work out of the place. And now I set him up. Oh, and that was right after I took him to Swift's over in the West Side. I took him to get some food, right? Right before I took him to go get some head. I do all this for him, right? And like a week and a half later, I get violated on my parole, and this fool robs my house. Dog. Same dude, right? So I know about scumbaggery, all right? This fool's one of them.
Go ahead, Holmes. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I wanted to put that.
You're
In.
absolutely
I get
right.
a lot of I get a lot of negative comments that are directed to you, but they're on my channel.
Oh, my point was, I don't even hate that fool. I don't hate that fool. I don't even care. His life's not good. I keep an ear to the street for him. He's around. You know what I mean? And and that fool tried to tell on me. Whenever so this fool robs my house, right? Gets caught robbing my house. He's living in my house. Like robs my house and living in my house, right? The police show up and bust this fool, find him with a banger and like a ripped open safe or some other stuff, and then he tells them, oh, all that dope and the banger and all that's all perms. That ain't got nothing to do with me. That's all perms, right? So I'm here in the county. Here I am in the county on a on a PV, on a parole violation. My house is already, right, like my house has been robbed. I know that. And then here come the detectives. They want to talk to me about some safe. Talking about, oh, well, we found your safe, da-da-da. I said, you didn't find a goddamn thing of mine. I don't know nothing about none of that. They said, well, this dude was in your house. I said, oh, is that right? They said, yeah, he was in your house. They said, well, was he supposed to be in there? I said, hell no, he wasn't supposed to be in there. They said, well, you going to press charges on him? I said, no. They said, well, if you don't press charges on him, we got to let him go. I said, well, I guess you got to let him go then. And they said, okay. They let this fool, the cops let this fool, because I refused to press charges on him, they let that fool back in my house to grab all his stuff, and he just went in my house and robbed everything that was left and then took off. And this fool, while he was in custody, the couple, like the 36 hours he was in custody, spilled the beans on everything. Told him that I was running a theft ring, told him that all this dope was mine, that the bangers were mine, that the safe was mine. They found some safe with God knows what in it. I don't know. It wasn't my safe, but they told him that this safe was mine. He tried to blame everything on me, everything in the house on me. He'd been living there for like a week and a half or something like that. I don't even hate that fool. He's all strung out. I'm hoping he went and told on another stuff. He told on a murder case. And then they gave him like 32 years. And that fool finished his 32-year sentence. And he's back out on the street, strung out again. Somebody's going to off him. I'm sure. Ain't going to be me, though. Oh, let's get back to this interview. But I don't even hate that fool. So I'm a firm. So I don't hate Gunner, just so we're clear. But this fool's apologies are trash. And this is easy views, homie. You know, literally all he had to do, a more effective apology would have been like, damn, I messed up, guys. I need a couple days. I apologize to American Cholo. I need a couple days to clear my head, homie. I messed up bad. That's it, dog. That would have been way more sincere. Just that right there. Go away for a couple days, come back and make videos, and I swear to God, all this would have went away. If he just would have been genuine, dog. He could actually give a genuine apology, but this fool can't. He's always got to be the victim.
And what's so upsetting, Dubs, and I spoke on it yesterday in the spill, but what's the most upsetting to me is not the hate I get. I've adapted. I've grown thick skin. You have to have thick skin to have a YouTube channel, you know? I'm used to it. Let's just say I'm used to it. It is what it is. It's going to be what it is. I can't control the next man. Although I would love to, speak to them personally and ask why, that's never going to happen. But one thing I know for sure is, and this is facts, the thing that hurts me the most in this situation is the fact that those who I have around me or that I'm cool with, like yourself, get the negativity and the hate directed towards them because of me. And that makes me feel like shit. That makes me feel bad because I can't prevent it. There's nothing I can do about it. And I know there's a concept and a goal behind that. It's called divide and conquer, like the video I did.
Yeah, I don't endorse that either. I tend to, you know what I mean? If I'm going to talk crazy to somebody, I'm going to talk crazy to them. I'm not going to be in somebody else's comments being like, oh, you talk to them or something like that. Come on, man. You know what I mean? Get off where you're mad at, as they say, right?
Yesterday in American Cholo spoke on so eloquently, right? Divide and conquer, meaning if I could divide them, then I conquer, right? Then I feel I've won. But like I said, there's a lot of dividing going on, but no conquering. So you can't conquer someone who's never going to bow down or break me. The conquering, you might win the battle, but not the war, right? So my thing is when people are going at you or other people because of me, the whole intention of that, Dubs, is not because they hate you or they want to belittle you, although they do get a little too personal. But the whole thing behind that is because they want to get in between. You know, if we can upset Dubs enough that where he gets tired of it and he just says, you know what, I'm cool messing with this guy, they've achieved.
That is true. That is what the trolls are trying to do. That's true.
Accomplish their goal, right? But some people are a little bit stronger than others. Some people see it for what it is, you know. But that's, you know, I'm not dumb enough to not understand exactly what intentions are and how people play the game, you know. I just sit back and let the you know, roll with the punches, let it play out as it may. But as far as being the most hated, I absolutely believe I am the most hated in the genre, and I believe that's because I have achieved numbers and I have achieved things that people want to achieve, and they absolutely can achieve by just putting in hard work and staying humble and being real. I've told people, you know, anyone that's ever asked me for help, I've helped them. Anyone, you could attest to that, Dubs. Anyone that asks me, I help them. And a lot of those people that I've helped.
Has this fool helped anybody? Can anybody vouch for that? Has Gunner ever helped anybody? Gunner help anybody grow their channel? What do y'all think? You know what I mean? Maybe he has. Did he help anybody blow up? I haven't seen any collaborations with any of his homies. See, because that's what I'm talking about. That's what's so weird, right? Like I'm saying, he has a ride. He has a ride. If I jump on, right, or if you jump on immediately and I'm a northerner, ex-northerner, right, you know where your people are. You're going to find your people right away, right? You're going to go look for your people. But I haven't seen, why don't I see any collaborations with his people? Which is weird. You know? That's always a red flag for me. What is this? I super chatted over $200 one night. They said it sent me. I never see it. Then is that true? Is that true? The dub's blocked. Comment of the week, dog. That one's staying up for a minute. Hold on. Here we go. Here we go. Let's get back over here.
You've helped. We've helped in the past. Have turned around and spit in my hand and turned on me because they weren't able to achieve the numbers that they thought they were going to. I can't do your content for you. I can't speak for you. I could only tell you how I did it. If it works differently for you, hey, so be it. It's just fucking YouTube. It's not a big deal, you know? Sometimes you try something in your life and you're good at it and it works for you, and sometimes you don't. And what you do in life is you press on as a man or a grown woman. You press on and find something that you're good at and find something that you enjoy, and you'll have a happier life and a happier family. But when you turn it into something negative and you're mad at the next man because you couldn't achieve what he did, or whatever the reason may be, you know, it might not even be that. You just don't like him. When you wake up in the morning, you don't like the way he looks. Then whatever you choose to do in the short term, it might work, but in the long term, it never does. Mm-hmm. And that's just it. But yeah, to answer your question, I believe I am the most hated. And I'll never know why, but
he likes that question, huh? He's answered that question like 7 times. He keeps coming back to that question, right? He's going to say yes to the most anything. If you know what I mean? Anything that you throw out there, do you think you're the most this? You think you're the best prison genre channel? Something like that? He's going to go for it.
It's not going to stop me.
I feel it is part of it is success, because I really believe this, and this is a trip, and then I'll go to my last question next. I honestly believe the two most disliked, hated, whatever you want to call it, whatever word you want to use, creators in our genre are actually you and Gil.
Yeah.
From what I see in the comments, even on my channel, it seems like the two of you are the most disliked, and the two of you are two of the biggest and most successful platforms. That's a trip. So
I haven't seen really any hate. much hate for American Cholo, except for that one, that other Southerner. I guess that one fool who doesn't like him anyway, who's going at him, right? Marvelous, is that his name? He's going at him anyway. But they said they got old, long-standing beef that's probably got something to do with something else, which I still don't agree with. That's not a reason to paint somebody as an SO or run with that. But whatever, homie has his agenda that he's pushing. I'm sure. I listen to him talk. He doesn't seem stupid. He seems like he knows what he's talking about. He seems like an intelligent individual, but I think he's probably got an agenda.
Anyways, my last question is this, and I don't know if you even want to speak on this, but my last question is, how do you feel about the people who have turned on you, who were once cool with you? And I'll say this before you even answer, and I'll ask it again. It's a trip because there are people that I've never met in my life. You've met them. I haven't. And they turned on me, and I'm like, what the fuck? I don't know you from nothing. You know what I'm saying? It's a trip to me, but I don't have any time invested in those people, you know, and so it doesn't, to me, it's like, you know, it's nothing to me, right? It's kind of funny to me. But for you, because you have broke bread with some of these people, you have spent money with them, on them, you know, you had good times with them. So how do you feel about those people turning their back on you now?
It's the way of the world, huh? You know, I have nothing bad to say about any of them. They'll always hold a place in my heart and in my life, because we had that moment in time together. We chilled. We considered each other friends outside of YouTube. But although some of us met through YouTube, we were able to you know, go outside of YouTube, kick.
I think that's the biggest thing right now that's keeping Dubs holding on, is because his bond to loyalty. You know, because if you watch Dubs' content, and I've listened to some of Dubs' content over the last couple days just to kind of get a refresher, so I kind of wanted to make a video like this, but I wanted to know what I was talking about. So I listened to the man, and he takes a lot of pride in honor in his word, and you can see that. And so as far as he's concerned, you know, Gunner's been good to him, and if he's gonna back that dude up, he's gonna back him up. And that's what was the movie called, Bound by Honor, right? If you know, you know. And I know that feeling because I've walked out on the yard with 30 black dudes. You know what I mean? And there's like 9 of us strapped up. Like, good. It didn't happen in Lyman. It didn't happen. It was the GDs. We got into it with the GDs. And it was, as a matter of fact, it ended up being the same GD. Okay, one of my homies got into it with this GD fool. We ended up getting it talked out. Everybody was able. We went out there strapped up. The homie Jams was able to talk to him. We were able to talk it all out and work it out. That exact same dude, GD fool, that my homie Boyd had gotten into it with the Sureño cat like maybe 90 days later. Got into it with the Sureño cat and beat him up pretty good. Beat him up better than the Sureños were willing to accept. They were not happy about the situation. And that actually set off a race riot in Lyman in 2008 is whenever I left Lyman. There was a race riot in between the blacks and the whites and the Sureños. And what it was all the cats that came out of the kitchen because they had gotten the heads. That I believe is that fool cartoon, this big Sureño cat cartoon, had got down with the GD fool Spikes, that his name was Spikes. And they got busy, and Spikes got him. Spikes got him good and took it maybe farther than he should have. And so the Sureños just went and strapped up. All of them just strapped up. They said, as soon as we hit the gym, it's on. They went and got the white boys. They said, as soon as we hit the gym, it's on. And as soon as they started getting through, as soon as the black dudes started coming through the metal detectors, maybe whenever there was like, I don't even know if all of them were through it, if everybody was through it yet, and it just popped, boom. And like it ended up in big piles of people. And there was this black fool with dreads, and he was getting busy, and he's the one who punched the cop, because he ended up punching this cop named Alan. They were getting busy, and Alan was a cage fighter, though. He liked to fight, and he ran up and just threw himself in there and he got busted in his eye. And I seen the black dude with dreads. He was like, hey, homie, you know that cop Allen? I was like, yeah. He goes, check this out. And he slid me the paperwork. And in the paperwork, Allen said, I got punched in the eye, but I'm not sure who punched me in the eye. So the cop held his mud. In the middle of a riot, the cop was sporting a big-ass black eye. After that, you'd see him walking down in the hole with big old black eye. And the cop never told. Like, nobody got charges behind that cop. That cop was cool, man. That cop was cool as shit. I respected that dude. And so anyway, a bunch of stuff cracked off. A bunch of people got their heads busted and everything else. It didn't go to a couple people got hit. A couple people got hit with blades, and everybody got sent to the hole. Well, the exact same day, on some completely random other stuff, this Sureño cat was trying to bulldog this Norteño for his Game Boy. Right? We had Game Boys at the time. But the Norteño cat was a weenie. I didn't know that. I didn't know he was a puss, right? Well, this fool, knowing that they were going to come for his Game Boy, he comes to me, he goes, hey, homie, you want to play my Game Boy? I was like, well, hell yeah, I want to play Game Boy. Shit, I'll play some Game Boy. You know what I mean? So I'm in here in the cell playing the Game Boy. You know what I mean? And the Sureños show up at my thing, and they're like, hey, homie, we need that Game Boy. I said, hey, homie, you ain't taking shit out of my cell. Yeah, and they said, nah, homie, we're taking this fool stuff. I said, that's fine. You could take it whenever I give it back to him, but ain't nobody taking nothing out of my cell, homie. You ain't taking nothing from me. So you could punk him out later. I don't care. He's not my trip. He's not my responsibility. It's got nothing to do with me. But you're not taking nothing out of my cell. You're not coming to my cell demanding anything. Well, this ended up being it ended up turning into a heads-up situation. Me and dude, we were both about the same size. We went in the cell and got busy. We ended up getting busted like right away because the cops seen us. The cops seen what we were doing. They seen that something was cracking. The cops are sitting there watching, and this cop didn't like me anyway. He was a big old ugly cop with no teeth. He was missing all his front teeth, and he was an old white dude, and he hated me. I can't remember what his name was, but that fool was out to get me anyway, so he would watch me. Oh, because I used to shower whenever I wanted. Whenever we weren't supposed to, I would jump in the shower real quick during movement sometimes because I live right next to the shower. That fool hated me just because of that, mostly. But yeah, so he watched us and he knew something was going on, and he was listening over the intercom. So like as soon as we started getting busy, pretty much the cops just ran in and busted us up, broke us up. But me and the Sureño cat both went to the hole, and they were convinced. They were like, you had something to do with it. We went to the hole on the exact same day that this same race riot popped off. So I'm down here in the hole. We're down here sitting there in the hole. He's in like the next pot over in the hole. And you start seeing all these white boys and Sureños. And the GD fool Arkansas came down into my thing. And the black dudes. And you know what I mean? All these different people started coming down. And that was one of the things they ended up ad-segging me for permanently. Because they said, they were like, we had something to do with it. They thought somehow or another, me and the Sureño getting the heads, they're like, it had something to do with this situation. They couldn't tell you how. He never said nothing. The Sureño cat never said nothing. I never said nothing. They couldn't tell you how, but they were like, no, you're out of here, dude. You're done. We're done with it. We know you had something to do with it. I'm about done with this video. This fool ain't talking about nothing. We've gone as far as we can get with that one. That's Gunner, my friends. Trying to apologize. This fool's a perpetual victim. He's a perpetual victim. And I don't think we can really expect much else from him, if we're going to be honest. You know what I mean? He's just going to be that. You know? It is what it is. Wow. How comments. Guard organ runner. Guard. Timmy, what up? Dubs vouching for runners, people. Now first row. Is OC 714? I don't know. I'm not sure about that. I think it's a guy. If I had to guess, if I think back over my interactions with OC 714, I think it's a guy. Eyes up, please. Oh, is there a troll running around? What they talking about? Something funny? Gangish did time with chomos? There is chomos out here. That's true. Yeah, it's true. It sucks. But yeah, that's the way it was. As a matter of fact, that's a good. I should bring that up because me and Timmy talked about that the other day. He's like, "Man, you kind of cleared that up." So this is how it goes out here. Whenever you're a chomo in the Colorado system, this is what happens. You go into diagnostic, and they're going to send you to prisons that they have that are for chomos. They have one called Fremont that is a higher security one. This is for people who have lots of years, extended years, even up to life. It's a level 3-4, what they consider a 3-4 yard, right? So it can carry up to lifers, people with thousands of years, stuff like that, S crimes. And the yard is like 70% Mo's, right? 30% regular people. And they intermingle them. Well, then there's an MR camp where they also have this S program, the SEX program. And that one is Arrowhead, right? So if your custody is way lower and your S level is way lower, or if you go to Fremont and graduate the SO program, you can graduate down to Arrowhead, right? Where it's just like a camp, okay? So this is where they try to keep the SOs. But if you refuse to program, and program is different out here, the way that they say program. Out here, programming means mainline. Whenever you program, that means you're doing the normal stuff that the authorities want you to do, like have a job, and then it basically is just have a job or go to school, get your GED. That's programming, okay? Because that's the extent of the program out here in Colorado. That's what they want you to do. So if you're doing that, you're on the main line. So that's what we call programming. If you're not programming, you're slammed down. That's what PC is. Non-programmable out here is PC. You just refuse to get a job, you refuse to go anywhere, refuse to do anything, so you don't get any privileges, and then you're slammed down pretty much in your cell all day because you refuse to do anything. You just keep going up in custody, and then you end up slammed down in your cell all day where nobody can get to you, right? Boom. So, anyway, so they got these two prisons. Now, what they want them to do is they send them there because they give them out here, they give them indeterminate sentences. Where depending on how severe your case is, if they give you, if it's a really severe, they'll give you like 20 to life or 30 to life or 4 to life. Or if it's it's like statutory or something like that, like statutory, you'll get you like 2 to life, 3 to life. And if you just go program, then you get out, right? But there's people who absolutely refuse to program. There's people who say, I didn't do those things. I don't have those charges. I was wrongfully convicted, and I'm not taking any of your classes, any of your SO classes, any of your PDF file classes. I'm not taking these classes. So now what do you do with these people? If they're not going to go to the yards and program, they say, oh, okay, you want to be a tough guy? Here you go. And so diagnostic kicks them out into general population. And then once they're in general population, it's on general population to try to find them and weed them out. You know what I mean? As they come through. You find them, you can extort. I mean, you can pretty much do whatever you want. If they're in general population with you, you know they're not programming. They're not doing the things that they're supposed to be doing because they're supposed to be over there taking these classes, right? There's a place where they're supposed to be. So if they're over here, they're either non-rehabilitatable, which means they're probably just disgusting anyway. You know what I mean? There was no bringing them back from the start anyway. You know what I mean? Multiple rapists and things of this nature. So if you find them, you can take their stuff, you can extort them, you can take their food, you can beat on them, you can whatever you want. They become a target for every mission. Like I used to see, this was one of my philosophies, was instead of, if you were going to get a violation, I would rather you just go take it out on a chomo than have the homies beat you up. Because if the homies beat you up, you actually could get caught. Like you guys could end up, somebody could break their hand or something like that on someone's face. So instead of having the homies put hands on you because you don't work out enough or because you owe money on the poker table and we had to clean it up for you, how about we'll just send you at the chomo, right? I'd prefer to do that. That was my trip. I think that's better than I tried to avoid us putting hands on each other. Sometimes that had to happen. Sometimes, you know what I mean, DPs do happen. You have to do it sometimes. Sometimes you got to make that decision, but I'd prefer not to. I'd rather send you, make you do something, make you do a dummy mission. You want to act like a dummy, go do a dummy mission. So yeah, I did do ties. My thing, I talked about this before. That was my thing, homie. I used to take their cake, homie, especially that carrot cake. They had a good carrot cake. Them chomos would be watching me, homie, because I'd be scoping their cake, right? And this is what I would do, right? It's because I was on the kosher meal. So the kosher meal, they would call, sometimes, depending on what prison you're in, they'll call you dead first or dead last. The prisons I was in where they would call me dead first, that would be my thing. I'd go, sit down, eat my little kosher meal, and I'd just be waiting for a chomo to show up, homie, so I could get me some cake, dog, on carrot cake day. And carrot cake day only came once every 6 weeks, right? So you got one shot, homie. You know, it's like 8 Mile, homie. You got one shot. Don't lose your chance to blow. You know what I mean? You got one shot in 6 weeks, homie, to get you as much carrot cake as you can, right? Jeez, he goes, jeez. Hey, homie, it's true. So yeah, there is chomos on the main line out here. There's chomos on the main line, and that's how I felt about them. Was if they were in the pod with us, they need to be paying us, and then even they're not getting off just because they pay. See, that's the thing. That's where people get it in their head, is they think, oh, well, you're letting them be there, and they're paying you money, and so there's a price that you can pay to be a mo. No, your life is still gonna be horrible. You're just paying the money to exist, to not be beat on every day, right? You still gonna get slapped up, homie. Don't get out of line. The chomos don't get out of line, dog. Don't be flashy either. I don't want to see you drag. You know what I mean? That's kind of how it is. So yeah, it's like, you're going to pay this money so we don't max you out. But see, the thing is, in reality out here, the cops, before they lost control like that, like if a bunch of us just went in on the chomos and just started bashing us out, well, this is what they do. This is how they do it. They're smart in Colorado, okay? This is what they'll do. If we just started bashing out every chomo, say there's 2 chomos, right, in the pod, and I just bashed them both out, and it was my homies that did it, and they knew they could watch the cameras, and they're like, these fools are doing it, I'm going to the hole. And they'll just start yanking the heads off the yard. Whoever's got the keys, they'll just start yanking heads off the yard. Oh, okay, you guys want to be tough? You know what I mean? And that's what they'll do. So the truth is, if we tried to max all the chomos out and get them off the yard, we would just all end up in the hole. That's all that would happen. We would end up in the hole. You know, I know the shot caller for the folks, the shot caller for the GDs in Sterling, Colorado. Hey, that fool had a punk, homie. This fool had a punk that it was a white guy, about $150. He was about 6 feet tall. He was about $150. He was super pale. He had a beard like Abe Lincoln. He had a stupid chomo hat and the Chominator 5000 glasses. He was a chomo, and he lived with the shot caller for the GDs. And hey, you could hear him boning that fool every night. You could hear it. You'd hear him. He'd be just in there just giving it to this fool. And that was the shot caller for the GDs out here. It was wild. That fool was with it too. That fool's a killer. I'm not going to throw his name out there. I don't know where the hell he is, but they know who I'm talking about. If they was over there 2000... We're talking the high side of Sterling in 2003, 2004. They know who I'm talking about. He was boning that dude, man. Yeah, we used to take all kinds of stuff for ice cream day. Ice cream. Make them give up the coffee. Don't let me drink it. You should just go in there and just take their coffee. Sometimes just walk in their room and grab the coffee pot and fill up your coffee. Cruise out. They say anything. Bah! Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Hey, dog, you could hear him getting that dude. The cops had to know. This was the weirdest, creepiest white dude you ever seen in your life, who literally looked like the textbook Chomo, like in a book. If you looked up Chomo, this dude looked up Chomo, down to the stupid trucker hat that he had on that like stood straight up and the bill was all just, he just looked like an idiot. This dude just looked like an idiot. And he's in there with the shot caller for the GDs, who's a known killer. And he chose to go live with the black shot caller for the GDs. The super violent black shot caller for the GDs. And and the cops are like, oh, okay, yeah. And he was just giving it to that fool. You could hear him. My homeboy White Calf from the east side, from East Denver. He used to always talk about, he's like, oh my God, it's so disgusting. He lived next door to him. He's like, it's so disgusting. I got to hear this fool getting boned every night, dog. He goes, and then I got to open my door in the morning and I got to look at this fool, like standing on the seat. Oh, dog. Hey, homie, I'll tell you what. Whatchamacallit was vicious. Homie Sterling was vicious. The shot caller for the Southerners, honestly, in Sterling, Colorado, he tried to take this little white boy's booty, dog. And I'm not 100% sure why it happened. I just saw the ramifications of what happened later. And what happened later was the Southern cat came stumbling out the thing with his nose busted up. And this little white boy come running out. He said he's trying to bone me. He said he's trying to F me is what he was trying. And that white boy come running down the stairs. He said, hell no. And needless to say, that Southerner left. After that, he wasn't around no more. They showed him the exit the hard way. And that's the type of place Sterling was. Sterling was the same one where there was the old man that I talked about named Gummy. Hold on. Gummy was 80 years old. He was an 80-year-old man, had no teeth in his mouth, and he was the reception clerk. So as his job as the reception clerk, he got access to everybody's charges, the manifest of the people, the arriving manifest. So he got access to all of these charges. So he would know who the SOs were coming in the door. So what he would do is he would look, see who came in the pod, and whoever came in the pod, he would push up on him and he would say, hey bro, I know what you're in here for. I'm in here for the same type of trip. I could help you. I do legal work and we can try to get you out of here and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And they would go for it. These people would go for it. And whenever they would give him access to their paperwork, he would then go make copies of their paperwork and then he would start extorting them for sex, right? And so all these kids, all these SO kids were over here sucking like 80-year-old weenie, right? They're sucking off this old-ass man, getting boned, whatever, because they don't want anybody to know that they're PDF files. But the problem is, everybody knew that they were PDF files because you're hanging out with Gummy, the 80-year-old weirdo who likes little boys. So everybody already knew who they were anyway. You know what I mean? So what we would do is we would sit there, we'd be like playing spades or playing poker or whatever, and we would watch. And you'd watch Gummy, because Gummy was always on a mission doing something, right? So then Gummy would give him like the sign that he wanted sex. I don't know what his sign was that he wanted sex, but he would like give him the sign that he wanted sex, right? And then you'd see Gummy go up, and he'd go up the stairs and like go in the cell. And then you'd see the kid go up there and go in. But the thing is, in Sterling, you can't close the door. If you close the door, you're not going to get out because it's a level 4 facility. So you can't. Once you close that door, you're not getting out again. Probably an hour controlled movement. You're not going to be able to pop your door again, right? And so that's the key. Is if you don't want to get caught in there, because if that's not a celly, you can't get caught in there, because if they come around for a count and they look in there and you got some dude in there that's not supposed to be in there, you're hit because your faces are on the door, right? They've got pictures of your faces on the door. So he'd go in there. He's looking for some head, or I don't know what he's going to go do in there. You never knew what he was going to go do. So he'd go up in there, and then the kid would follow him up in there, and then we'd have a little we'd let him, give him like 2 minutes maybe to get started, and then we'd tell one of the homies, hey, fool, go, 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 go. And he'd run up there real quick, real quiet like, and boot the shit out of the door, or swing the door open, and there'd be like this 80-year-old man getting head from like some 20-year-old kid. And Gummy'd come out on the tier, and he'd call us all kinds of punks and bitches and everything else, and swear he was going to kill everybody. He'd come out with his weenie flapping, start threatening everybody. Dog. And then after that, once you got caught sucking weenie, you couldn't come back from that. You know what I mean? I seen a couple dudes get caught. Because it would be random. This is how it would work. Is like you'd get there, everybody be chilling, you'd meet some dude. Oh yeah, you're cool. Yeah, what's up, bro? Da 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 da. And then like a week later, somebody would catch him in Gummy's room. We would all just wait, just keep an eye on Gummy all the time. It was like a game to keep an eye on this fool. Wait to see who goes in his room, and whoever goes in his room is sucking weenie, dog, and they get exposed. Get socked up. And then it was a rough day. And the way Sterling was set up is everywhere that you worked, like I worked in the kitchen. All of Unit 2 worked in the kitchen. So all that was in Unit 2 was the kitchen and like the porters and the unit staff and stuff like that, but it's basically just the kitchen. So it was hundreds and hundreds of people that all worked in this huge kitchen. This is a pretty big facility. And so we all knew each other. We all worked together. We go to yard together. We live together. You're pretty much isolated. You know what I mean? It was the 1-2 yard, the high side of Sterling. You're pretty much isolated, so you see the same people all the time. There's nowhere to go. You go out of the pods, and you go right into a huge concrete courtyard with 30-foot concrete walls all over it. And that's all you can see. And the whole place smells like pig shit. You know what I mean? Because there's a bunch of pig farms up there, and the whole place smells like pig shit. But there was nowhere to go, dog, in that place. You could feel all the hatred just pointed inward. You just chilled with your dudes. Like I was running around with the Northerners then, and we had the bleachers and a handball court. That's what was ours. And then the blacks had the basketball court, of course. And then the G's and the Sureños had the other the other handball court, and then they had that side of the little courtyard. Yeah, and then the blacks were kind of some of the blacks that play handball too. They were allowed to play handball. It wasn't like that, but it was pretty separated though. It was pretty segregated. Yeah, he was done, dude. Once they got caught sucking that dick, I can still remember the homie Urso from Bloods hit him the next day. It was like, hey, we were in line. We went and we were like coming in, and we came through a little metal detector because you got to go through the metal detector to go to work, right? So you go through the metal detector, and as soon as we go through, we go in to get your your beard guard, and that fool put on his little beard guard over his little beard like that, and the homie Urso walked up and grabbed it. He walked up to it and he grabbed it and he pulled it back and snapped it, and it went poof over that fool's face like an alien, you know, wherever it jumped. So he couldn't see nothing, and the homie just lit him up. Bop, bop, bop. Just hit him with like a 3-piece, dog. And this fool was super, super white boy with red hair, dog. And that fool, whenever he pulled that mask off, he was all red. His face was beet red. He didn't last very much longer. He lasted maybe another 36 hours in general population. And that's what I'm saying. It's not. Are they in the population out here? Yeah, but it's not good for them. But it's because the reason why is because if everybody made a concerted effort to take all the chomos off the yard out here, they just slam everyone down. Everybody just be perpetually slammed down. They're not going for it. They won't go for it, and the reason why is because they've seen what happens in California. Whenever you let the patients run the asylum, if you will, right? Because the gangs have thorough control of the California prison system, right? Out here, they really don't. They can, but Colorado has no problem slamming the whole yard down and taking all of the heads off the yard. Anybody who's involved, who's acting up, Mexicans, take the heads of all the North, the South, the G's, the Mexican Bloods, snatch them all up, get them off the yard. Now you got no leaders. You guys want to play again? Well, now we'll go down the list of who's validated. We'll keep going down the list of who's validated. You guys want to take some more chomos off the yard? And they've done this. They'll do this. And they'll even come and threaten you ahead of time. Right? I've seen them do that too. And be like, hey, man, you guys are going a little hard on them. You guys are going a little hard on them. You know? You got it. So it was a delicate balance. You wanted to take advantage. You wanted to get paid as much as you can. You wanted to make their life as miserable as possible. And you wanted to use them whenever torpedoes needed to be sent. You know, whenever somebody had a debt to pay or something like that. You could always do that too. That was always funny. If you got like a youngster who was kind of cool, but he kept getting like he'd owe you some money, right? You know what I mean? Owe you some money. It's like, I like this dude, man. I don't want to violate this dude or something like that. I'll be like, listen, fool, you don't owe me nothing, but I want you to go bash that chomo out right there, dog. That fool's a mo, dog, for sure. He's a mo. Just go bash that fool out for me, dog, and then we're good. We would do that. That's because it's either that or then maybe the kid ain't even got no money. Maybe he got himself in debt. He really ain't got no money, and what? I'm just gonna keep hounding him over $15 or something like that. Nah, homie, this is better. This is better. This is better entertainment. I'd rather do something like that. Go smack the chomo around. Oh wow, I didn't realize I was muted. My bad. Let's see. Yeah, the paperwork's written in crayon. Yeah, I'm not a wood. I'm from a hood called Los Locos out here in Denver. At the time, it kept the politics kept changing throughout time out here. The politics kept morphing, and so whenever I first got to the joint out here in Colorado, it was all about Denver. It was about Denver and Colorado, small Denver, Colorado gangs that were independent, like the Greeley Playboys and the Latin Aces and the the GKIs, even the Mexican Bloods, the Chicano Crips. All of us rode together. Whenever I first got to the joint, all the Chicano gangs rode together. So I would sit at a table and eat with a Chicano Crip and like a Chicano Blood and maybe a GKI or something like that. Because I'm from a small street gang, West 13th Avenue. It's out here in Denver, West 13th and Wolf, Los Locos. So that's how it was whenever I first got out here. But I did so much time, things changed, right? And so the politics shifted underneath me. So from there, whenever I was there, the Northsiders were kind of part of the ride too. Those were the homies, the NSMs, the dudes from North Denver and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Well, whenever I went from Buny, I ended up getting put in the box for like 16 months or 18 months. I ended up going to AdSeg. I caught a bunch of assaults. I got 3 assaults, and I refused a UA. We got caught drinking in the kitchen in Buny. This was like my first 6 months in prison, first 8 months in prison. I got 3 assaults, and I refused a UA, and they were just done with me. They were done with me. They threw me in the hole for like 16 months. Whenever I got out of the hole, politics had shifted to where my ride, my people, were now running with the North. And this was in Sterling, Colorado. So I went to the hole for 18 months, and the politics shifted underneath me. So I got out and into Sterling, that was a super political level 4 yard, slammed down. Everybody's got their basketball courts and everybody's got their little sections and da-da-da-da-da. And I jumped right in the ride with the North because that's what was going on at the time. It's just so weird. I kept going to CSP and I would get out. It's even shifted now. They say it's wild. It's wild. So we go from there to Walsenburg, I get to Walsenburg, I link up with the North again. What up? Those are the homies. I'm functioning with the North. I'm chilling with the North. Everything's good. One of the big homies shows up and he goes, hey, dog, we may want to pull back from them dudes. He goes, them dudes are cool. I know they're your homies. I know you've been riding with them, but you may want to pull back from them because the political winds are changing, is what he told me. One of my big homies told me this. I was like, yeah, and I hadn't felt it because I'm over here on a level 3 medium, and level 3 medium in Colorado is nice. So I'm over here chilling, doing my time. I got the little keys to the yard. Everything's good. I'm you know what I mean? There's like 6 or 7 of us there. I got the little keys to the yard. I'm having a great time. I'm learning to box. That's where I learned to box, right? I'm having a wonderful time. One of the big homies shows up and he says, hey, man, we're going to have to pull back from the Northerners. I was like, oh, okay. I didn't to think about it too much. I didn't worry about it too much. They were still my homies. I still functioned with them. They were still my homies, but I had to listen to what the big homie said because he was what he was. He really was a big homie, and he was speaking right. It turns out he was speaking right. So then I get over there to Ordway, Colorado. I step on the yard in Ordway, Colorado, and no one likes me, including the Northerners, right? Because I'm a LPP, right? So I hit the yard. I'm one of the only LPPs there. I've got one homie who's there who's supposed to be from the north side, but he rows with us. He's a north side LPP. And then the homie Hawk is on the other side, so I really can't function with him at all. I can say what up across the yard, but I can't function with him at all. So now I'm by myself. I literally hit the yard, and I got one dude there with me, right? So I'm in the gym talking to this fool, my one homie. I'm like, hey, what's up, homie? The Northerners come up and they start punking this fool out, homie, in front of me. And this dude's supposed to be one of my homies. And they're punking this dude out in front of me. And I says, hey, homie. The Northerners are still standing there. I said, hey, homie, you gonna let these fools talk to you like that or what? And he was like, what? I was like, you ain't gonna say nothing? I was like, I don't know what's been going on this yard, homie, because there was no one there. He was there by himself. Like, I don't know what's been going on in his yard, homie, but we ain't doing none of that. We ain't doing none of that, homie. So you could cancel that, homie, or you could leave. You know what I mean? Ain't nobody talking to us like that, homie. What are you doing? So then that kind of washed away. So then I wanted to go, what's called? And that got washed away for like a day or two. And then I was out there hitting the punching bag. Again, hitting the punching bag. I just come from Walsenburg. I'd been at Walsenburg for 2 years where I learned how to box. Well, Ordway had a punching bag too, so I'm out there hitting the punching bag. And the Northerners show up. One of them shows up. Not Northerners, just one of them shows up. He says, hey, homie, you tripping on UTA? I said, nope. I said, I'm tripping on my homie, dog. You know exactly who I'm tripping on. He said, okay. And he turned around and walked off. So now, over the course of the next 90 days, we go from having this one homie on a yard who's getting bulldogged to me getting there. I establish the yard. I establish a team. Like 2 more of my homies show up that are riders, and I start recruiting, right? I start recruiting fools. I just hit the yard hard, homie. I'm hitting the punching bag, shirt off. I'm doing push-ups in the weight pile, homie. We're lifting weights and doing push-ups in the weight. Just getting it, homie. Just going for it. You know what I mean? I got a couple homies that are the beast with me, and then I'm start recruiting people. So within 90 days, I got like 7, 8 people on the team. I got the homie Beck, the homie Bird, the homie Leo was there, the homie Boyd, people did, the homie Vic. The homie Vic was there. So Vic was a norteño. Vic was a norteño from Pueblo. He's the only norteño that I had ever met from Pueblo before I jumped on here. So he so we got all that. All of a sudden, I'm building the team. I started establishing the yard. Is basically what I did. I established the yard, homie. And the G's, they didn't like that, homie. They just did not like that. It was going to come to a head. I really wasn't welcome on that yard in the first place. You know, like I said, the big homie was right. The big homie was right. Politics had shifted underneath me. And there was nothing I could do about it. It had nothing to do with anything I had done. The politics had shifted underneath me. So now I'm solo dolo, right? Trying to build a team, trying to establish a team on a level 4 yard, right? So, and I'm doing it. The G's get offended. They're tired of it. They're tired of me. I'm talking loud on the yard. Like I said, people got their shirts off. You can see these big old LPPs and da-da-da. The G's, they end up bashing out my homie Leo. Now, I don't know if it was heads up. They tell me later on, because I talked to the G's, they said, nah, homie, we just beat that fool up heads up. Well, the word that got back to me was that fool had, that he had, that they had jumped him, right? That they had jumped him and stomped him out. So I'm in the thing by myself, in the unit by myself. I go black and I tell the fool Blinky, me and Blinky are really good. He's a G, but me and Blinky are super good for way long. We've been good. And I said, hey, homie, what's this going to be? He said, it's going to go down, isn't it? It's just me and him in the pod by ourselves. You know what I mean? And he goes, what's this going to be, dog? And he said, this is going to go down tomorrow, isn't it? He goes, you're going to set it off, aren't you? I said, yeah, I'm going to set it off, homie. He goes, okay. He goes, I'm going to attack one of your homies, dog, just so you understand. He's like, but just go around me when it cracks. I said, okay, cool. And then, so very first one I saw was in the chow hall. I came down the thing, so cruising the chow line. Go in, grab my chili. It was green chili day. I grabbed the green chili, and I walked down the thing, and they got their own spot where they chill. You know what I mean? And so I walked up, and I'm acting like I'm scared, homie, but I got my mouthpiece in. I'm done up, homie. I'm ready to go. Put it that way. I'm ready to go. Suited up. So I shoot down there, and I walk up to his table like with my head down, and I look up, and I smiled at him, and he could see the mouthpiece, homie, and I hit his homie, boom, like that with the green chili, and I come across the thing and swung on him, and he came around the table. He goes, no, let's bang, fool, let's bang. I said, okay. So I stepped back, and then he came at me, and we just started going for it. Boom, 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 boom. And I stepped back, and I tripped over the, the chairs that are attached to the table. You know how they've got the arms that come out? So I tripped over one of those, and I grabbed him, and I pulled him on top of me, and we both got stuffed down in between this wall. There's a wall and the chair, so we couldn't really do nothing to each other. We weren't, like, beating each other up. We were just, like, stuffed behind the wall, and the cop just started spraying us with the OC spray. The cop just started. The cop just fucked us up with the OC spray. Dude hit me a couple times. He got me a couple times. We tangled a little bit, but there just wasn't much to it. You know what I mean? But I had a thing on me, so I throw the thing. Right? This thing went messed up on me. Let's see. It won't focus. So I had the thing on me. I had the piece on me. So I throw it. I throw the thing. The white boy, the 211, he already knows. He knows what time it is. The 211 runs over. He grabs the thing, throws it on his plate, runs up and dumps it into all the food trash and shoves it down the slot, right? So the piece is gone. Now there's no piece at all. So they sprayed us up. Whenever this happened, apparently the homies were outside trying to talk to these fools, they were outside talking to a group of them, right? Trying to, I guess, talk the situation out. I was over talking it out. I wasn't going to talk anymore. So they're outside trying to talk it out, and whenever they see all the guards running for the chow hall where I set it off, they run over, look in the thing, and one of them fools turns around. He sees what's going on. One of them G's sees what's going on, hits one of my homies in the mouth, and then it just pops the whole thing, because there's like 5 or 6 of my homies out there, 5 or 6 of their homies, and it just starts popping. Blah, 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 blah. I don't know how those fights went, because I wasn't out there. Couldn't see those happening. Like I said, me and dude were in the thing, and we're both sprayed up. They soaked us, because we're like stuffed down in beside the tables, and they sprayed us up with OC spray, so I couldn't see nothing, dog. And they picked us up, and we were both just leaking. I had like Vava's just like a foot, homie, just disgusting. And so then they pulled us outside, and I was just down like this, like that. I had my head down, and because I didn't want to get all the snot all over me. I was trying not to get all the snot all over me. And whenever they pulled us outside, and with the OC spray, you can only open your eyes every once in a while. You know what I mean? You can't open them. You can't keep them open. It hurts to keep them open. But I would like open them and look around to see what was going on. And I would open, and there was a bunch of G's just laid out on the grass, and there was all my homies just laid out on the grass, and everybody was all sprayed up. Everything was pepper sprayed, all crazy. Everybody was coughing, and the homie Vic was doing like this because he had got his lip busted. His lip was busted open, and he was trying to show me like that. He was like, "Look." So as you can see, the years, I'm going to give you the years. This is from 2003, and this is from 2001 when I got to the joint. All the Denver gangs were riding together. In 2003, politics had shifted underneath me, and I was in the northern ride. The next prison I get to, I'm still in the northern ride, but the homies are saying, hey, the north is feeling some sort of way about us. The next prison I get to, I'm by myself. Nobody wants anything to do with LPP at all, right? So I'm by myself, but I start going hard. I go from there I go to the Hole for like a year, and then I do their STG program in Lyman for like 9 months or something like that. And they let me out onto the yard in Lyman, which is another level 4. And everything's copacetic. Everybody's got life sentences. There's a bunch of the big homies there. There was maybe 20, 25 LPPs there. Probably a little more G's, probably 30, 35 G's, but everybody's copacetic. Everybody's doing a life sentence. Everybody just wants to get on about their time. And there was a lot of murder at that prison, if we're going to be honest. There was a lot of murder at that. It was one of those prisons where, that was the only prison where I seen killers turn down a fade and just be like, I see one, he said, well, let's get busy then. And, we'll go get your piece. Let's just die, homie. Let's just do it like that. And then the other cat just be like, nah, homie, I don't want to take it there today. Like, I don't want anybody to die today. And that was serious. Like, you could turn down, that was one of those places where you could turn down a fade and just be like, I don't really want to take it there. You know what I mean? Because like 70 to 80% of the population had a life sentence. So it was a very, very, very serious prison. So, fuck that spray. I'll bet your wood chip. What up, AZ? Boom, Vegas, good to see you. OC, yeah. So then, okay, so think about that. We go from there, then I get over to Lyman, and we're just our own ride. LPP is just our own ride. Everything's good. Everything's copacetic. Where do I go from there? I go from there to CSP. CSP is what it is. You're just slammed down all the time. I go from CSP to, I get out, and then I come back, and I go to the Denver County, and they love me because I'm perm from the west side. So everybody loves me, even the G's, the homie Gimp, you know what I mean? The G's, the Northsiders, the Crips, everybody's, oh, hey, what's up? That's the homie. Because they know me. I always bring dope. I never go back to jail without bringing dope. It's kind of my thing. You know what I mean? So they love me in the county. The old timers love me. Everybody loves me. So I didn't get any static at all in the county. It was basically going back to Denver County was in 2010 was exactly like being in Buena Vista in 2001. It was all about Denver, homie. It was all about Denver solidarity. It was all about the Raza chilling together, functioning together, backing each other up. Right? So that was like a throwback to the heyday. But then I go from there to Cheyenne Mountain, and it was the same thing. The homie Jeff Cisneros, the OG homie from the G, Jeff Cisneros, was there. That's my homie. That's my dude. You know what I mean? I love that dude. And there was a bunch of dudes there that I functioned with. Homie Lil Nightmare and all these, like a bunch of dudes who were just supposed to be my enemies. Now these dudes are like supposed to be my enemies, right? And I don't talk about the G's a lot because the G's don't like to be talked about. They kind of have a thing where they're not supposed to be on camera. And I kind of figure if they don't want their own homies talking about them, I probably shouldn't be on the internet running my mouth about them. Is kind of how I feel. Now, I will talk about some of the interactions and the people that I've known and stuff like that throughout the years, but nothing too intricate, you know what I mean? Just my own interactions, you know, which have overwhelmingly actually been positive. It's just been, you get to certain yards and the politics shift underneath you, and you never know, dude. You get to a yard, homie, and get the cold shoulder. for nothing you ever done, homie. I did all the things I was supposed to do. I followed all the rules. I backed up people, whoever the politics said I was supposed to be backing, I backed them. You know what I mean? I did it faithfully. I showed up to the yard every time something was going to go down. You never had to worry about it. I worked out faithfully, homie, 5 to 6 days a week. I hold the weights down, the stairs climber, the whatever you want, homie. I was one of those dudes. I was a gym rat. You never had to worry about me doing my burpees or doing any of that, homie. I handled that, you know. I was the one pushing the line on those type of situations, and I just never had a problem, dog. But politics is what it is, dog, and there's no way around it. There's no way around it. I go from there to what? I went to Burlington last time. Then from there, I got back out, and then I went to Burlington. Burlington was kind of not super serious of a yard. That was the one time that I turned down helping one of my homeboys, the homeboy Gorilla from NSM. That's the only time I ever feel like it still bothers me. I feel like I've been a coward, dog. That's what I should title that. That's what I'm going to do. You guys are going to hear about the one time that I was a coward. It still haunts me to this day, but I need some water first. So, the one time I was a coward, in 2012, I got regressed on a parole violation, and they sent me to a prison called Burlington. It's a level 3 prison. Not a very serious prison, just a step above a minimum restrictive cap, right? It's a private prison, CCA. When I was there, the first week that I was there, I was doing some sort of bench press on one of the benches, and I blew a disc or did something in my back, and it messed my back up bad. Because of what happened to me in Burlington, they refused to say anything was wrong with me. They said there's nothing wrong with you. I was on a 4-month turnaround. They said there's nothing wrong with you. I couldn't feel my left leg. I couldn't walk. It was bad. I was like, no, you guys got to do something. They said, you just want drugs. That's what they told me. They refused to do anything. They were feeding me in my cell. I couldn't walk. It was bad. I was having trouble going to the bathroom. That's how bad it was. I couldn't feel my dick. My dick was asleep. My dick and ass and everything was asleep. It wasn't numb, but it was asleep. Everything wouldn't work right. I was scared whether I would have children. And I couldn't walk right. It was bad. Well, the homie from NSM named Gorilla shows up. And Gorilla has sciatica too. He's literally dealing with sciatica at that particular time. But he is one of the dudes who taught me how to fight in Walsenburg. He's my friend. I've never told a friend no. Despite politics, I've never leaned on politics to try to get out of something. I've never said, oh, dog, that's not really my business. I don't give a fuck, homie. If you come and you're my friend and you say, I got to go get busy, homie, back me up, I'll go. Period. That's it. Doesn't matter what gang you're from. Doesn't matter. He came to me. Well, the first thing they did is the Sureños sent one of their hitters over there, right? I forget what this fool's name was, to go heads up with him. They sent this fool in. And the homie Javier just rocked him. Rocked him so good right away. And this was one of their fighters. The homie rocked him so good right away that the other Sureño just went in and was like, fuck that. He knew he was going to get in trouble if he let that happen. Put it that way. So the other one went in too. And that fool got jacked up too. So he beat up 2 of these fools at the same time. This fool's a fighter. Homie's named Gorilla from NSM, from Northside Mafia. Shout out to the homie Javier. So he rocks 2 of these fools, dog, and they don't know what to do. Because he just beat up 2 of them in the cell. They tried to go in on him, and he beat up 2 of them, dog. They're all lumped up. The Sureño cat, the hitter fool, he leaves, right? And the homie comes to me, and I didn't want to tell everybody what I was going through. because for one thing, it's embarrassing, right? To be 26 years old and say, I can't feel my dick. I don't know if my dick's going to work right. I don't know if I can go to the bathroom right. And I don't know if I'm going to be paralyzed for the rest of my life. That's how I felt. I didn't know what was going on. Am I ever going to have children? Am I ever going to have any of this? And I'm on a walker at this time. I'm walkering around. And the homie comes to me and he says, hey, bro. He says, I got to go see what's cracking with these fools. And he goes, and can you just make sure to keep them off me? You know what I mean? And I told him that I stood behind some political shit. And I said, hey, bro, that's not really our business. You know that's not really our business. We don't really rock with y'all like that anymore. The split between the North and LPP had become complete. So I don't really rock with y'all like that. And I stood behind politics. I've never stood behind politics like that before. But I was scared that I was going to end up paralyzed. And this is on a level 3. This ain't even got nothing to do with a level 4. I was only on a turnaround, so it didn't matter much. You're not going to catch a charge just trying to protect, just trying to like break up a fight and make sure somebody gets bashed out. You're not going to catch a charge like that. This was not even a serious yard. But I was scared that I was going to, like, if somebody would have pushed me, I'd be done. I didn't want to tell everybody that literally you could just push me over right now and beat the shit out of me. You could grape me right now. And I wouldn't have been able to really protect myself. That's how bad a shape I was in. And I didn't want to let anybody know that. And so I put a political answer out there. I hid behind politics. And I told one of my friends no. And it still bothers me. I still owe that dude an apology, dog. Javier Torrealba. He's a good dude, man. Good dude. What's everybody doing? Anybody want to come up? Damn, I've been ranting for like 2 hours, dog. We already went through Gunner. Rewind if you want to see Gunner's nonsense. Ate a quarter pound of shrooms at once. Are you serious? Oh, a quarter of shrooms. Yeah, I ate like 4 grams one time, and that was way too much. Way, way, way too much.
What's up?
What up, brother? How you doing?
Is there anything new from Gunner today? Or is this
Yeah, he went on he did Dubs. He did an interview on Dubs Live where he claims that everybody hates him because they're jealous of him.
Everybody hates him because he's a poo butt.
Pretty much, because you're a poo butt scumbag, dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These fucking people, man, I'm telling you, they're weird.
Oh, Gunner. Like I said, I don't even hate the dude because I don't hate anybody. I ain't got time to hate anybody. But it's like he's like making the content for you. Like it literally would have been better if he'd have made a 2-minute video and just been like, hey guys, I messed up, man. That was wrong. Shouldn't have done it. I need a couple days to get my thoughts. That was wrong, dog. That's all he had to do. But this fool just can't apologize. He can't do it.
Right.
And
then it's the rest of the world. We're plotting on him. It's jealousy is causing this.
Yeah. Yeah, he's something else. But, and that's the thing is if you handle things the right way, they're saying they're saying Bud Light, this is going to be a permanent loss for Bud Light. They're saying they're expecting a permanent 15% reduction in sales.
Damn.
Yeah. Talk to 1312's mom. She's going to find out how to put money on her books tomorrow. Let me know. Yeah.
Trece doce. Yeah, we just got a package into him today. He got it.
So anyway, that's the answer to who I ran with. For I forget exactly. I think John Neal was the one who asked if I ran with the Northerners, and the answer is yes. At times, yes. And I could never control the politics. You know, if I would control the politics, everything would be copacetic and everybody be functioning together, dog, because that's what I always tried to do. You know what I mean? That was the goal. But it just never seemed to work out that way.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a cold world, man.
What do you, what do you do whenever the politics shift underneath? I mean, we were kind of, we were kind of asking for it, having so many factions. Like having a whole ride of just Chicano Bloods. That's kind of asking for trouble. You know what I mean? A whole ride of Chicano Crips. You're asking for there to be problems for, and we had a lot of rides like that, a lot of homegrown gangs here in Denver. And it bit us in the ass. The lack of unity in the long run bit us in the ass.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's how that goes, too.
Because, the Sureños, no matter what, them fools function with the same people on every yard. Either you're in the ride or you're out of the ride. But that's it. You know what I mean? If you're in the ride, if we're in this prison and you're in the ride, and then we go to that prison and you're there, I'm going to be functioning with you over there too. And the Colorado gangs weren't like that. The Colorado gangs couldn't keep it together like that. They couldn't stand on their alliances, it seemed like.
All I know is the Southsiders, they have a way of
they're good at what they do.
Power on these yards and keeping it.
They run a tight ship, Doc. They run a tight ship. I'll give them that. But this is what is so weird to me about Gunner. I talked about this earlier, is that, you have a ride, homie. You're an ex-Northerner. You have a ride. It's EBK and J-Hands and all these, you know what I mean? There's a whole bunch of them. Paradigm Media and how come your whole ride don't mess with you, dog?
Right.
These aren't active. These are ex-members.
Yep.
And they don't even want nothing to do with you, dog. You know what I mean? Is it really jealousy, homie? Really?
Yeah, no, he moves funny. He doesn't know how to be a real friend. He just uses people, and then he shits on them in public. And that seems to be a big problem on YouTube, period. Is these people, they got no loyalty, bro.
Well, the rest of them do. All the other Northerners like each other, ex-Northerners. They all like each other, or at least they don't bash each other. You know what I mean? I'm sure they have differences. Everybody's got differences, but they don't bash each other. It's just this dude.
Yeah, that's true.
What you eating, VBS?
A motherfucking Lunchable.
Nice. Man, in county, if 4 white dudes work out together, gang boys, to see what's going on. Man, that's the one. Oh, and I ran with the Woods one time. And I had the keys for the Woods whenever I was in Arapahoe County. Right? That happened one time too, just by accident. Because I was a white dude. There was nobody else there. You know what I mean? I threw my flag out whenever I first got there. Everybody knew what I was. But there was a whole bunch of little white youngsters, homie, and they were looking for a home. And Arapahoe County is very dark. It's a very black county. We were in Max, and you're talking 75, 80% black people. All the black people are concentrated in Colorado. They're just in a couple spots. And Arapahoe County is one of them. Aurora. The city's called Aurora. And I end up running around. I mean, there was a bunch of little white boys looking for a home. I'm out there just getting my burpees in. I would take we had an extra mattress, and I would take it and wrap it around. There was a pole, a vertical pole, and I would wrap it a couple times. There was a vertical pole, but the vertical pole had steps. So I would wrap it around, and then I would tie a sheet around two around the outside of it, and then one around the steps to hold it in place, and we would use it for a punching bag. And those little white boys that were looking for a home, they were all over it. They were like, yeah, we want to be in the ride with you. It's dark around here. I was like, fuck it. I could use a workout partner. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's you never know. You never know. That's the true answer, dog. Is whenever politics aren't set in stone, like in California or Arizona or Nevada. You know what I mean? It's not set in stone out here. Nothing's set in stone. There's different people from different colors and different races in pretty much every gang. You know?
Yeah, it blows my mind that you have Mexican bloods on the street that claim Chicano in prison.
Yep, that's wild.
It's totally wild to me because of the black gang, so we automatically consider you in the black car. You know, it's just strange things like that you hear from every state has their weird stuff. You know? And Nevada, the Mexican ride is crazy different too. Like you have Southsiders, and then you have Nevada Trece, which dumped the 13 completely and became, you know, Nevada Gangsters. And there's a lot of crazy shit, man.
There's a gang like that out here too called Oldies Trece that decided to drop the Trece and just pick up their block, which is Trece 7. So now it's Oldies Trece 7, but whenever I was growing up, it was Oldies Trece. And then my hood was Los Locos Trece. And then the other homies from 13th Street were Mestizo Trece. So there was several gangs like this. And then there was a bunch of Guaritos as well. If anybody knows what that is, Guaritos Trece, J13. There's a lot of them around as well.
Yeah, as you can tell, I like the MVGs and the Nevada Trece. Those are the dudes that I fuck with. Because they're homegrown Nevada, and they're not going to be taking nobody from out of state. You're not going to tell me what to do. And that's the way it should be. That's how the Woods get down. That's how the A-Dubs get down. We don't allow other groups to come from out of state and run our program. Why should we expect the Mexicans to do that?
Yeah.
You know, I told the bros many times. Well, I'm not going to say that openly on
yeah.
Yeah, never mind.
Yeah. Yeah, Virginia is it just the what you call it, nobody cared. The racism just wasn't here, dog. It's just really not here in Colorado like it is in a lot of other, like I grew up with it, right? I remember my uncles and shit. They were all Wood or brand soldiers. Some of them were brand soldiers, validated members, things like this. These are the people and a lot of bikers that I grew up around. So I grew up around way more racism in California than I ever experienced in Colorado.
Oh, there's a lot of racism in California.
Yeah, in the woods, out in the redwoods in Northern California. Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. They don't even have. There's places don't even have black people. Where Lucky Loco lives, the county Lucky Loco lives in. Well, I guess he's on the run right now, huh? But or not on the run, but on the move. But Lake County, California.
Rest in peace to Lucky Loco's little sister.
Ooh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, she just passed away.
I didn't know that. Rest in peace. That sucks.
Lucky Loco, if you're listening, bro.
Yeah, shout out to the homie. That sucks. Yeah. Yeah, the county he was living in, it might have 40 black people in the whole county. I never seen a black person there. I'm just guessing because just randomly you're going to get a couple people. You know what I mean? But it's an extremely unpopulated county. I went to school there in Middletown. It's called Middletown, California. Town of about 1,000 people. There was no black people. There was one Mexican woman, one Mexican girl, little Chicana girl, and that's it. And they would say the N-word in class. There was some natives. I'll give you that. There was some Native Americans up there. They would say we could say the N-word at school, and no one cared. I can remember starting a fire in the yard at school. We went out and we were chilling, and you could smoke cigarettes there too. This is how small it is. We smoked cigarettes in school, just out in the little yard. And we started a little bonfire and just sat there with a bonfire at school. This is Middletown, California, in Lake County, California. And we made a little bonfire and just sat there for a little while, hung out till it was time for class again. That's what we did for lunch. We like built a bonfire for lunch, sat out there and smoked cigarettes and chopped it up, put the fire out, went back to class. It's rural California. Rural California is miles different from Metro California, from San Francisco.
Yeah. So tonight we're doing Culture War Vultures, right?
Yeah.
Did you see that graduation?
What is it?
Kid showed up with a banger.
To graduation?
To graduation, bro. Smoked 2, got 5 more.
Oh, and he used it. Showed up with it and used it.
Uh-huh.
Ugh.
That's fucked up, bro.
Ugh. Yeah.
Like, that's the last day of school.
You know, I'm not going to name who it was, but one of my people that I call my uncles, I went back whenever the recall was happening. The California recall election was happening, and they were recalling the mayor.
Hell yeah.
And we were driving, and I said, hey, who are you voting for, dog? Who you going to vote for in the recall? He said, I don't pay attention to that politics stuff. I said, you're not going to vote at all? He goes, oh, yeah, I'm going to vote. I said, who? He goes, I'm going to stick with the home team. I'm going to stick with the one we got. I said, you don't like Larry Elder? You don't want to change that? Or I said, what about Kevin? Because Meet Kevin, the YouTuber, was running as well. I said, what about Meet Kevin? And he goes, well, what are my real choices here? He goes, that's the young kid, right? I said, yeah, that's the young kid. He goes, so I got the young kid, I got the N-word, and I got the home team, right? The white boy. I said, yeah, that's it. Basically, yeah. He goes, yeah, I'm going to stick with the home team, dog. And that's rural California, dog. That's rural Northern California. That was the general consensus.
Jesus Christ, bro.
He didn't even care about the politics. He literally only cared about the race of the person that was running. That was a no-go. It wasn't going to happen.
John Neal, that was at the University of Virginia graduation? See, I just caught a glimpse of it on the news.
UVA? That's
Whoa.
horrible.
Whoa.
Dad and son got smoked.
Damn.
That sucks.
Wow.
What do you want to do? Do you want to try to cover that tonight on Culture War Vultures or what?
Yes, absolutely. And we need to edit it and put it out there too. That's fucking. See, that's great. I thought it was like a high school one.
All right.
That's a big graduation, bro. That's a college graduation.
Well, let's go ahead and let's call this one a day then.
Okay.
And I'll start working on the next one for 7 o'clock. Everybody, 7 o'clock, 7 p.m. tonight, Mountain Standard Time. That's 9 p.m. Eastern. Culture War Vultures. Tap in for Culture War Vultures. All right? Thank you, my friends. I'll see y'all in a couple hours. Woo! Later.